Hey everybody, Steve-O here for Movies and TV's On the Ball, and welcome to a kind of a bonus episode before, just to let you know my next videos will be coming out one at a time, but this is kind of a preview, kind of keep you guys interested. I did a video a couple months ago talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the TV movie that starred a young Ryan Renolds and also Melissa Joan Hart. This came out right after, kind of came out during the kind of right before the show, and so I kind of was watching on Tubi the pilot episode for Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is a little bit a little more different than a TV movie. It still has sort of the same ideas. You had Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina. She's levitating, and kind of like as she does in the TV movie, and she comes downstairs for breakfast. And as she's coming downstairs for breakfast, she finds out that she's a witch, and she's very, it's more of like she's really intrigued by being a witch. What's interesting about this pilot episode as well is that we've got her to be she ends up getting a book, kind of the spell book that probably lasts throughout the series, and is sort of engraved with the spirit of her father, kind of in the same way as in Harry Potter, how the pictures sort of move. That kind of thing. She has a crush on a boy named Harvey, who I think throughout the series they end up really dating and becoming something. And we have there's sort of the mean girl, and there's a lot of different sort of things that that takes a little bit from the TV movie, but it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit shaved down for being 30 minutes as opposed to an hour or 25 minutes, without commercials. This pilot's worked pretty good. We had the voice of Salem, who is kind of becomes the voice of Salem throughout the series, and he has that voice and has the cat. I really like the dynamic between Caroline and Bethany. I think it's her name, or Beth. They have a little bit more characteristics that, and I think with the show they've really developed the characters and worked really well. She does a lot of um, she does a lot of more. I think this in the pilot versus the TV movie, she does a lot more. Just points the finger, and it happens, instead of saying like saying different kinds of things. I like this pilot. I like this pilot. I think it works really well. Um, the We see her. It's more simpler. There's more of a laugh track that that I think makes it work pretty fun. Salem will say something funny. There's cauldron making, and she's also does a lot of she at the her when she finds out, and they're very, like, you can become a witch, and make sure you show the powers in a way, because she goes to science, her biology class, and she turns the frogs into and back to alive, and they jump around. So there's a lot of that. This is a pretty good pilot episode. I really liked the chemistry between the aunts and Sabrina. Harvey, I think, was a pretty, this pilot was a little bit sort of, I think he's more goofier as this plot goes on, a little bit more, as the series goes on, a little bit more, but he's very kind of straight laced. You kind of got the mean girl. She works really well. Her best friend, who I said in the pilot TV movie, is still played by the same actress, and I really liked that they kept that going for this. I think this is a good pilot episode for Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think it has sort of a lot more. I think the series kind of has a lot more interesting facts. We see in the opening credits how she is changing her outfits, and she changes her outfits from like different things, and she stops at the one that probably has to do with the plot. In this pilot episode, she does her changes her outfit into a witch, and she says, "Oh look, I'm a witch," and it works really well. I like the father. As I said, I like the father being in the book and sort of giving the blessings. We really kind of didn't really get that in the TV movie. But Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the series pilot episode, I would have to say I give it a nice 80. I like this show. This show came on TGIF right around the kind of early 90s. I think the show came out in I think the show showed up on 90 came out in 96 and ended in 2003. So it had about a pretty long run for a TV series. I think it lasted 7 seasons, so I think that kind of works. Which, speaking about witches, or wizards and wizards, Harry Potter, you had 7 years of school in Hogwarts, 7 books, 7.5 movies. So there's something to do with that. But I really like this show. I really like this pilot. I think this pilot worked really well. So I'll give it on my 1 to 100 scale, I'll give it a nice 85. So that's my look at Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the pilot episode for the series. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And please check out my video on the TV movie that was done. So, as always, I'm Steve, and see you at the movies.